Hi and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how I created this commission piece of the Happy Cat from Fairytale. And Happy is the sidekick to one of the main characters in this anime TV series. My client who asked me to make it wanted a oversized onesie made out of fleece. And she wanted the brand that goes on all the Fairytale characters, and Happy's happens to be this forest green color. So I found the Fairytale logo on Google and I enlarged it in my Photoshop app and I printed it out, and now it's my template. So I cut this logo out in green felt. For the rest of the onesie, I used this McCall's Costumes pattern M7852 as the base of it. And I do alter this pattern mainly in how it's put together, the tail, the hood construction, and the face details. I cut the 2 front pieces and 2 back pieces. I cut 2 sleeve pieces, and these are not inset sleeves. This pattern actually consists of the sleeve itself. It also consists of the shoulder part as well. For the hood, this is one alteration I made. It said to cut it all in one piece. I did not want to do that since I was adding ears to it. I went ahead and folded it in half and then cut my pieces out accordingly. So that way the hood actually consists of 4 separate pieces. And this is another alteration I did. The pattern did not have a cattail, so I am creating a long tube in the shape of a tail. For the ears, the pattern actually had this shape. It's a triangle shape with a curve at the bottom. I cut 2 pieces out of the blue and 2 pieces out of pink for the ears. And Happy has a white belly, so here I'm taking the corresponding belly piece from the pattern and making that white belly. The first thing I do is sew the back up. And if you are creating this and you want to add the tail as well, do not sew the entire back up because you have to add the tail to this back seam. Stop at this red line that I have put up there. Don't be like me and sew it all the way up and then have to unpick it. And now I'm going to go ahead and hand sew the logo onto the back. It's easier to do it when the onesie is not constructed fully. And I do serge all my edges on this so I have a nice clean finished look. And if you have one as well and creating this, do your back seam before you sew this on. So I apparently did not press record when sewing the tail. But what I did first was I went ahead and took my white fleece, sewed it to the end of the blue fleece, so I had a long strip of fabric that's blue and then white tipped. I had 2 of those, sewed up the side seam, and then I turned it right side out. I do stuff this, but it is optional. It does make it a little on the heavier side, but as long as you don't overstuff it like I did, it should be fine. Once it's stuffed, I go ahead and sew up the opening so that the polyfill does not come out. With the tail created, I go ahead and put it in the back seam. I first baste it onto one side and then I sandwich it in between the two back seams. And then I set that aside. For the front, it does have a white belly, so here I mark how high I want the white belly to go up to, and then I lay it on there and stitch it on. Once the white belly is stitched on, you can cut that extra blue fleece underneath it off, but I chose not to. For the arms, I lost the footage on how I attached those, but I did create a diagram. I sewed this line where the arrow is pointing to the corresponding piece on the front pieces, and did the same thing to the back piece. The original pattern did not have pockets, so here I am creating pockets. I just use my hand as a template and draw a circle around my hand, and then I cut an angle on the flat side. And I need 2 pieces per pocket, so I cut out a total of 4 of these. I decide where I want to put them on the side seams, and I go ahead and pin them and then sew them on. 1 piece of the pocket per side. And once all the 4 pieces are attached, 2 on the front, 2 on the back, I go ahead and line up my side seams, making sure the pockets are aligned properly, and sew the side seams up. I also sew up the sleeves as well. Now on to the hood. The hood is created exactly how I made the Sonic jacket last year. If you would like to take a look at that video, I will leave a link in the iCard above and in the description box below. I go ahead and attach the ears together. So I have 1 pink piece connected to 1 blue piece per ear. Once those are sewn together, I go ahead and flip them out, and then I do sew the bottom opening closed. With the 2 ears done, I go ahead and set them aside and get my hood situated. I first mark where the top of the ear will hit on my hood, and I sandwich the ear in between. Make sure you take care to make sure the ears are facing the correct way. And then I sew that seam together. Now you should have 2 pieces that look exactly the same with ears facing the same direction. And then I line up the seams together and I sew the center seam of the hood. And with that, you have a simple hood with ears. With fleece, it does not fray, so you can actually leave it like this if you want. However, I like the nice clean look, and there's actually a couple ways I can create that. One is I can give it a rolled hem right now, but I like to create another strip of blue fabric and attach it to the front of the hood. So I take this long strip of fabric that's about 6 inches wide, pin it to the hood, cut off any extra, and then go ahead and sew it on. Again, much like I did with the Sonic jacket. With that sewn on, I go ahead and roll that front piece over on itself and sew it to that seam that I just created. This actually gives me a rolled hem without that center seam in the middle. For the face of Happy, I go ahead and do exactly like I did with Sonic, where I took a image off Google, scaled it up to what the size I need, and then cut the pieces out of felt. And then I go ahead and hand stitch this onto the hood. I do create the eyebrows out of embroidery thread. And now we have Happy's face. For the arms and legs, I go ahead and create channels and I stitch them on just like I did the band around the front of the hood. I will be inserting about 3/4 inch elastic into each one of these channels. And these are optional. You can just do a rolled hem or do these channels but don't put any elastic in them as well. Or not even hem them at all. With the zipper and the front of the hood, I wanted to hide the zipper tape on the inside of the onesie. So here I created a 1.5 inch wide white strip of fleece and attached it to the back of the zipper tape. And once that is on, I go ahead and attach it to the onesie. For that fleece strip on the inside, I go ahead and pin that down. And then I sew up my crotch seams on the front of the onesie. With the zipper on, it's now time to sew on the hood. I go ahead and match up the seams on the onesie to the hood, and then when sewing it on to make sure it stays even, I go ahead and sew from the middle seam to the edge on each side. For that strip of fleece on the inside, I go ahead and hand stitch it down. And with that, the happy onesie is done. I think she likes it. This is actually going to be my client's Halloween costume this year, and she has a 2-year-old daughter, and she asked if I would make the Carla costume for her 2-year-old. So I couldn't resist and created Carla as well. And if you don't know who Carla is Happy's love interest. And this one is created basically the same way, except the eyes are a little bit different because Carla has brown eyes and they're multicolored. So I tried to replicate that with felt. And Carla has this cute little pink bow wrapped around her tail, which I created with some hot pink satin, and then there's an elastic inside the loop. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you next video. Bye.